It's been a few years since I've gone out and sought a new gimbal for my iPhone, so when hohem's brand new iSteady M7 was announced and showed up here in the studio, I really didn't think much about it. I can't believe that a gimbal made for an iPhone can now automatically follow me around wirelessly and allow me to change my composition without needing any kind of proprietary app. This is pretty crazy. Last week, I released a new video that documented an insane opportunity I had to play some of the guitars owned by one of the greatest guitar players of all time, Mr. Jeff Beck. And for that video, I just used my DJI Action 5 Pro camera connected to a selfie stick. The goal was to use a really simple setup, and in a lot of ways, I think my iPhone Pro could have given me more options, especially when it comes to macro or close-up focusing. And I think I would have had more options using the telephoto zoom range with the additional lenses found on the iPhone. However, there's one thing that really struggles with the iPhone, and that is the image stabilization. So if you want to use the camera built into your phone that you already own and want to create just simple vlog or YouTube content and don't want to have to buy a dedicated action camera, you're still probably going to want a gimbal that makes your footage off of your iPhone look a little bit more professional. Now that's something where the hohem iSteady M7 becomes useful. Now in the past, the gimbals that I used to use with my iPhone were not very sophisticated, and they always required a camera operator to control the overall framing manually. Now this isn't really a big deal when you're holding the gimbal yourself, but if you want to start filming videos with more dynamic movement, or if you want to start starring in your own videos, those older style gimbals probably aren't going to give you enough control. The iSteady M7 is unique in that it gives you a full color 1.4-inch wireless touchscreen that not only gives you real-time preview of what your camera is seeing, but it can also allow you to control the gimbal's framing in some really interesting ways. Check this out. I can remove the remote and hold it in my hand and use the screen and joystick to perfectly frame up my shot. This works because the iSteady M7 has its own little camera mounted right above my phone. Now I have this facing me right now for this video and for selfie mode, but I can also easily just take this off, flip it around, and now use it with the forward-facing cameras as well. And it has some pretty interesting AI controls that make framing up your shot both quick and reliable. Watch this. If I use the OK gesture, it's going to turn the light on top of the AI camera green, and now, without hitting anything, it's going to automatically follow the subject that is framed on the little green box on the remote. When I'm done filming or I just want the camera to stop moving, I can use the stop gesture. It's going to now turn back to red. And now when I move around, unlike the previous shot, it's not going to continue to track me. It's going to stay perfectly steady. These gestures work surprisingly well. They definitely are more reliable than those old days where Eli and I had to yell, GoPro record! GoPro record! GoPro record! GoPro record!
All right, let's just hit record on here, the old-fashioned way.
And this is pretty cool too. If I use the framing gesture, the light's now gonna blink green. I can change where I am in the screen, use the framing gesture again, and now when I move, it's going to keep that space to the right of me open. So this is really useful if I wanted to talk and show something in the background, or if I know that I'm gonna be filming and I wanna put something else on the frame right there, I can change the framing up, and then when I'm done, do the framing gesture, move back into the center of the frame, do it one more time to lock it, and now I'm back in the middle of the frame. Like, how crazy is that? So this literally turns my whole setup into a one-man crew where I can now do some really dynamic things and not worry whether or not I'm in the correct position, if the correct framing is taking place. This is pretty incredible. Now this AI tracking, it's not just for people. Let's say you're shooting a product shot and you want some really dynamic movement. I could easily highlight the subject, lock it in place, and then create really fast movement that's always gonna have the perfect composition. In the past, I would try to do these really complex movements while also using the joystick to try to keep the gimbal in the right position, all while trying not to trip over anything in the surrounding area. It was almost like I was trying to juggle 3 things at once just to get a single shot. The M7 gimbal makes this 100% better in every way. Now, I have to be honest, I don't know how many other gimbals there are out on the market that have this tracking feature, but I've been using this for a few days and it's just simple and it works. And if you know me, You know that I hate devices that are overly complicated and challenging to use. Now, the iSteady M7 has some other pretty interesting features. I didn't notice this at first. Took me a while to figure this out, but check this out. It has a built-in selfie stick built right into the handle. So if you want to get some really interesting selfie angles just further away so your face isn't quite as warped as it would be if you get really close, you can easily do that. Or let's say you want to film some interesting angles by getting the camera down low or perhaps really high. You can do that so easily with this extension arm that's already built into the unit. I can't say that I've seen this on any other gimbal. This is a very clever idea. There's also a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom of the handle here. So you can mount this included tabletop tripod just like this and use that anywhere. It also kind of acts as a larger handle. Or if you're a professional and you have a bunch of light stands and tripods, you could mount this to one of those and get a more elevated stationary shot. Now there is another 1/4 inch thread on the side that you can use to mount other accessories like a microphone or an external hard drive or an LED light. Hohem has an additional grip arm that you can buy and add here, but we didn't get that accessory, but it would be really useful if you're running and gunning all day, you want a little bit more stability, or if you want to get those low camera angles and not have to extend the selfie stick, you could do that as well. Oh, and before I forget, the AI tracking camera does have a built-in LED that you can turn on and off, and you can change the color. It's only 2 watts, so it's not super bright. It's not gonna light up a whole scene or anything like that, but it could be useful if you need just a little bit of light for autofocus, or if you just want to add a little bit of fill light in a low lit scene. Now, in making this video, I've come to find out that the iSteady M6 has been highly regarded with an average rating on Amazon here of 4.4. So even though the M7 is relatively new and it doesn't have nearly as many reviews as the previous model, there are some pretty major upgrades like the larger touchscreen that is now detachable, the real-time preview that you can see, the built-in selfie stick, the larger payload motor so that you can balance larger phones. And now when you're packing up and transporting this unit, you can lock every one of the axis arms, which should all make this a worthy upgrade if you own one of the older gimbals. Now I know this just came out, but I would like to see a cold shoe mounted somewhere on the gimbal so that if you're temporarily mounting, say, a wireless microphone or a transmitter or something like that, you could just mount it directly to the gimbal and not have to have any sort of adapters. Yes, I'm aware that you could get, different brackets and mount them on here and put a cold shoe on here, but I just find that every time I add my own little adapters, they become loose, they corrode, I can't get them off, they get lost, I don't have them when I need them. So it would be great just to have some sort of cold shoe adapter. I have seen that the additional arm that you can purchase to put on this does have 1, if not 2, cold shoes built into it, so maybe I just need to get that. But it would be nice if there was some sort of cold shoe permanently built into the handle so that you always had one place to mount something like a microphone without having to have any other accessories or adapters. So there you go. I really didn't think today I'd be doing a review on an iPhone gimbal, but that's my quick review of the iSteady M7 gimbal by Hohem. Overall, I'm extremely impressed with this gimbal, and I think it solves a lot of problems that content creators face with an all-in-one solution. First, it easily stabilizes your camera and makes the footage look that much smoother. It also adds extra reach with the built-in selfie stick. The wireless LCD screen lets you monitor yourself when your iPhone screen might not be visible. And perhaps the biggest feature is it lets you add motion to your footage and change your composition using the AI tracking software. And unlike some of the larger gimbals that we have that we use for our mirrorless cameras, I really appreciate that all of these little pieces charge electronically using just one cable plugged into the side. And I don't think I'm gonna find myself taking this out on location and then being frustrated that 1 or 2 pieces aren't charged because I forgot to plug in the AI tracking camera back at the office, and guess what? That one piece isn't charged. Everything charges together with one cable. I think that's a really smart design. If you enjoy this kind of content, please help us get to our next goal, 2 million subscribers, by hitting that follow bell below. And if you're a photographer or you're just interested in photography, head over to fstoppers.com for the latest photography news, reviews, and inspirational articles. Also, each month, Fstoppers is hosting our own photography contest, Critique the Community, where we give away some awesome photography prizes to our favorite contest entries. This month's theme is Your Best Images of 2024, and you can easily enter just by going to fstoppers.com/contests. And finally, if you want to support this channel while also learning how to make money and better images using your camera, head over to fstoppers.com/store, where you can check out our full-length photography and videography tutorials. We have masterclass style courses on everything from landscapes, product photography, architectural photography, headshots, swimwear, macro photography, and videography courses as well. And you can use the discount code below to save on anything in our educational store. It is almost Christmas, and I haven't even begun wrapping my son's Christmas gifts, so I will see you guys really soon.